Oh.
First map should be
Here.
Clan Blitz on Albacore Hotel,
Okay.
right?
Okay.
So wait, we're going in
like
progress.
Single elimination round. I think they might be on pick. They might have picked the wrong map.
So do we have to tell them to restart?
Yeah, group stage
Clan
says
Blitz.
starting Clan Blitz Albacore. Yeah. Okay.
My confusion is immense.
Okay.
Twitch.tv. What is up? Welcome back to Swimmer Sync. You already know who it is. If you don't, it's your boy Bash. I am with Adam, and we're about to get into the first match. Stratus vs. Midnight.
Yeah, absolutely. So, like Bash said, welcome to Swimmer Sync 16, hosted by Inkling Performance Labs. Getting right into it, Stratus versus Midnight. It looks like our first map up is going to be Clan Blitz on Albacore. What do you think of Clan Blitz on Albacore, Bash?
It's interesting. Just seeing all the players just hop around the different gaps, trying to gather and pick up clams. And just with the way the map is set up, just seeing all the different possibilities for weapon compositions. We don't know what these teams are going to run. Well, I guess we're starting to see now, but a lot of different strategies can work here. And seeing two different, vastly different strategies sort of butt heads is always fun to see.
Yeah, absolutely. And we do see the Kensa Splat dualies coming out on the side of Midnight, and the Ballpoint Nouveau, two weapons that you don't see a whole lot right now. I'm really interested to see how they make those work. That being said, right away, two go down on the side of Midnight. We do see the remaining two members trying to retreat a little, and Stratus very quickly starting to rack up their clam count.
Of course, yeah, they're starting to gain an advantage. Nobody's picked up a oh, wait, no. Stratus does have a power clam. Now there's just waiting for an opening to score. We see some charger action from far away, trying to clear the path in order to make the drive, but Midnight isn't really phased, and they're looking to push back as well.
Yeah, absolutely. We do see Midnight trying to make something happen, but Stratus is really putting the pressure on. Look at them going very deep, close into the goal with... there it is, first power clam in, and they are trying to make something happen with this push. Unfortunately, they really don't have that many clams. 7, 8 clams on the board, and all in the hands of one player, and unfortunately not able to get anything else in, so barrier goes back up. When we see a small push like that, it's a lead, but you're giving your opponent the free power clam, so it could end up working out poorly for you in the long run.
Yeah, so only the one power clam coming in. Stratus gets their first points on the board, but they're going to need to do more in order to get a significant advantage, especially since Midnight is closer to the end zone, clearing the area, and that's their first power clam in. And actually, no, they've gotten 2 in, and they've thrown a couple more clams in for good measure. Now it's down to 54, and Stratus is on the back foot now.
Yeah, absolutely, and we see Midnight still putting on the pressure.
Oh, wait. It hasn't stopped. It hasn't stopped. They put some more clams in.
Down to 30. Oh, wow. I mean, just like that, a game that at the start was looking like Stratus had such a strong start, all the way down to 27 points. Can they make anything else happen?
24.
All right, that's going to be the end of that first push, but that is scary. You don't want to be at such a large deficit, especially here on a map like Albacore, where it's really a long trip to get to your opponent's basket. So it's not easy to get a lot of clams over to that basket.
Yeah, I mean, I see Midnight already has another power clam on deck, but really they could just play lockdown defense for the rest of the whole 2 minutes, and they could win that way. It really depends on whether they're more comfortable with offense or defense. I see they're trying to drive, so maybe more offense is the answer for them, but they don't want to leave an opening for Stratus to sneak through with their power clam and turn the tides a little bit.
You're absolutely right. They are in a position here now where Stratus cannot come through and gain the lead off of one cheeky clam. They got to really put in a big push, but Midnight is not taking the pressure off. Again, open up that barrier and got down to 21 points. Now 12 points. This could be knockout, but it doesn't seem like they have any more clams to throw.
It's down to single digits. Can they do anything else? No, it doesn't look like.
That barrier is going to close. Still in a very good position here. That being said, Stratus does still have more than a minute to try to make something happen, but it is not going to be easy.
Usually a minute's eternity, but with that score gap, I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah, the worst thing they could do right now is get impatient and rush in before they really have an opening and loot. And so, okay, so they still have the power clam, trying to make something happen, but again, they only have 18 clams on the board and the power clam going down.
And they keep losing those engagements. Just buys Midnight more time to just set themselves up and prepare for any further pushes from Stratus, as they have 2 more power clams, but they're really far away.
Yeah, it looks like trying to come for the flank here with the power clam, but Midnight is really has their defense on lock. It's like you said earlier, they're in a position where they can really hang back and play defense. But we're seeing now the downside of that, where if you don't have that map control in center, you're allowing your opponent to pick up every single clam that comes their way. But fortunately for Midnight, it looks like even that won't be enough. Looks like we're going to go into overtime, but this game is looking pretty good for Midnight right now.
Yep, they activate the armor. Now they're hunting down the power clam carriers, trying to keep them away from the goal as long as possible so that they can just wrap the match up.
Yeah, absolutely. We see now Stratus going 2 members down, and
there it is.
Midnight taking game 1.
So it looks like it was pretty even on the side of engagements. They were trading blows most of the time. It just looked like Midnight was just able to capitalize more on the opportunities that presented when they did win their engagements. Stratus wasn't really doing as good a job at carrying the momentum as Midnight was.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. We even saw, at the start of the game, Stratus had won that first engagement, and they were looking good. They had pretty much full control of mid, but they made the mistake of making their first push too early. They saw that they had gotten some good picks, and they made a push at a point where they just didn't have enough clams to really make it happen. I'm very interested to see what we're going to see going into game 2 here. Tower control on Inkblot Art Academy.
Yep, very much a King of the Hill type map mode combo. Small size. Of course, the objective is moving, so it's not as much of a grind as Splat Zones. Actually, it could be as much of a grind. It really depends on just like what comps players are using and what strategies they're employing, because usually with tower control, it just comes down to coordinating specials and making the most out of your pushes.
Yeah, absolutely. On Inkblot especially, there's some pretty tough checkpoints to get past. Just some pretty tough spots in general. Making it up that wall and onto your opponent's plat is not an easy place to get the tower. So I think we're going to see a lot of scrapping kind of happening down in mid.
Yeah, I'm expecting the ballpoint on the side of Midnight to stay out, but I'm also expecting some stingrays to be added to the repertoires of each team, because those are very useful, especially in tower control, especially on Inkblot Art Academy, where there isn't too much to hide, but there is a decent amount of cover.
Yeah, absolutely. And it looks like we don't see the ballpoint coming out again. We see now Stratus is running. I'm sorry. Yeah, Stratus is running a completely backlineless comp. Well, with the exception of that Dynamo, which you could, I guess, consider a bit of a backline.
So they're playing small ball. I'm not sure how that's going to work out, because power control really requires you to stand your ground. But it will be interesting to see if they can get points on the board. Right now, Midnight is pushing the tower, or they were pushing. Nope, they're back to pushing the tower, and they're already at checkpoint 1, whittling down the points, and just winning all their engagements.
Absolutely. We saw Stratus was 2 down. It looks like they're coming up on a checkpoint here, but Stratus is getting back in the game, starting to try to take out members of Midnight. And just as I say that, again, Stratus goes 2 members down.
Yeah.
Midnight is in a position now, once you manage to break that second checkpoint and really get up onto the plat, I mean, you can really take advantage of that momentum, and I think that's what we're going to see here. We see them really making good use of this splat charger and trying to continue pushing.
Yeah, I really like the charger play by Tenta, getting a lot of picks, painting a lot of the area surrounding the tire, really doing a good job of putting pressure on Stratus. Now they've got the Stingray, and now they're putting it to good use. Like I like to say, Stingrays are usually seen as defensive weapons on towers, but seeing them used for offense and seeing them used for offense successfully is always fun to watch.
Absolutely. I mean, yeah, the support that provides is just so good. You know, we saw there Midnight went 2 members down, and they were at a bit of a disadvantage. But because that Stingray was coming in from behind and really helping them continue to push, they didn't really get pushed back at all. They've now pushed down to 39, and it looks like it's not over. They are 2 members down, but they are still taking some picks off of Stratus as well.
For sure. And yeah, it looks like it sort of looks like a tug of war right now. Like they're sort of trading control over the tower, but Midnight is in a more advantageous position, keeping the tower more on the side of Stratus and doing a good job at saving those specials for situations like this, using the Stingray to halt the tower's advance. And now Midnight's able to push the tower further, putting even more points on the board, and now they're approaching checkpoint 3.
There it is. And you know, honestly, if I'm Midnight right now, I'm just fine being in that tug of war with the tower, you know, for the rest of the game, because that's good enough when you have such a big advantage. But there they are pushing down 3, 2, 1.
There's the knockout.
There it is. There it is. Game 2 going to Midnight. So that is going to be first set going to Midnight. A really, really fantastic performance in both games. This is, I believe, a play all 3.
I'm not sure. I'd have to check. But yeah, nah. Map 2, they took that with authority. They're absolutely like... There's not much that Stratus could have done about that. Like, you were right. Having that backlineless setup did not work in their favor whatsoever, and they really just paid the price for it.
Yeah, unfortunately not. I mean, we really saw Midnight was able to make really, really phenomenal use of just playing to their comp and really putting in a lot of teamwork. You know, we saw anytime that Midnight was really pushing, they were all together and they were all kind of doing something separate, between Tenta, like you said, in the back, just applying so much pressure and kind of you know, taking the focus away from the rest of their team, and just really they waited for the right moments to push, which is something that's really important. That patience definitely pays off.
So it is going to be a play all 3. So we are going to Rainmaker on Blackbelly Skate Park. Oh wait, they left. I guess they didn't want to play the 3rd. How do we call that? Oh no, they're coming back. They're coming back.
Okay.
Okay. But yeah, Rainmaker on Blackbelly either lasts 5 hours or 10 seconds.
Yep, pretty much.
It really depends on how attentive these teams are to pushes, because there are a lot of flanking routes and a lot of like places where either if you poke a hole in their defense, if you take out a lot of enemies, you can just drive all the way to the end and knock them out. But also a lot of places where you can just sneak by and win the match without them even thinking.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. I mean, I personally would not be surprised at all to see that Vanilla Splat Charger come out again on the side of Midnight. That, you know, when you have a team that you're playing against that really starts, like you said, trying to just sneak around and find an opening, to have that Stingray on deck is so phenomenally useful, right? To be able to just from across the map take care of that threat. So definitely think we're going to see that. As far as Stratus, you know, I'm interested to see what they do for their comp, if they are going to try to adjust something here, or stick with the comp that we've been seeing them use.
Yeah, we'll just have to wait and see. I'm guessing since they're setting up the room, it may take a little longer than usual to get everything back in order. But once it is, we'll be able to see.
Yeah, you know, something that I'd really like to see now coming into game 3 on the side of Stratus is them start to, you know, like they're getting the picks, right? We see that, like, as the teams are engaging, a lot of times they're going pick for pick, where members of Midnight are going down. I think what I would really like to see come out from Stratus is like waiting that extra moment to start making the push until you really get into an advantageous position. Because, like I said, they aren't playing poorly.
They aren't. Yeah, no, Midnight's just been doing the better job of making those opportunities work for them. seeing an open window and just climbing right in.
Yeah,
Stratus just
absolutely.
needs to do a better job at that, and we'll see if they can with this final match. We see some dualies coming out. We see a jet squelcher, and then we see some longer range shooters just all around. The gal, the sploosh.
So we don't have the that vanilla splat charger coming out on the side of Midnight. It looks like instead they're choosing to go with the custom jet squelcher again, still having that stingray on deck and a phenomenal weapon. And right away, Stratus goes 3 members down. Midnight going 1 down, but they are going to be able to pick up that Rainmaker and start a big push. Already down to 25 points.
That's just Rainmaker on Blackbelly Skate Park. And yeah, they lose the Rainmaker, but still 21 points left. And they're maintaining that offense, putting pressure on with bombs, doing a good job at... One of the members was doing a good job at dodging that splashdown. Other one got caught up. But now Stratus is just painting the zone and seeing if they can't do a big push of their own.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, they just... That was, I mean, they really managed to take advantage of that, and something that I really like that we have been seeing for Midnight quite a bit are
What
okay.
what happened there? Did
What
they
was
just
that?
stand and let them sneak past?
It kind of seemed like it.
Did
Oh,
they
I think it was a
they
DC.
they DC'd? They DC'd.
Okay, okay.
Okay.
Yeah, you know, something that we saw from Midnight pretty consistently again is just like they did not let off on the pressure. You know, we said it in game 1 and again in game 2. They managed to rack up a pretty big lead, and we're in a position where they could have stayed back and played defensively, but they just kept the pressure on, and that seemed to really work out for them. You know, they put themselves in a position uh, where Stratus never had time to fall back and regroup.
Yeah, that's a very valuable quality to have in a team. Just being able to keep on the gas or at least be consistent. Because if you start off strong, that's all fine and good. But if you just slow down in the end and you let it slip through your fingers and you take the L, it doesn't really make a difference. Either way, it doesn't look like they're going to replay. So it looks like we're just going to call this 3-0 Midnight.
All right, so that's first set going to Midnight, and it looks like uh, all of the games in round 1 are just about finished up, so we should be getting right into round 2 right away.
Yeah, it'll be interesting seeing what teams we play next. But first, we're gonna go to a break, so keep it tuned. There's more action coming up soon. We are back, and round 2, we've got Fantasy versus CST Gang and Barry.
I love that. CST Gang and Barry. So we're going to be getting into round 2, like you said, just in just a moment. Let's talk a little bit about what we got for maps and modes and teams here. So Fantasy, don't know a whole lot about them. We do, I know for sure, have a Charger player, I believe, Bandit. And then on CST Gang, Turtle, one of the
And
players
Barry.
on CST. Yes, I'm sorry, CST Gang and Barry. Turtle, one of the CST Gang players, is a Tenterbrella main, which I love seeing on stream. You can get some real hype moments from a good Tent.
Oh yeah, I'm really looking forward to seeing all of these players duke it out. Shout out to all the peeps in the chat on the Pacific side, though. Make yourselves known. But anyways, first map, first mode, we got zones on Starfish. Bigger map, but a balanced map. So I'm expecting to see a varied comp, but at least one backline type weapon on each team.
Oh, for sure. There are so many good spots to snipe from here. Not only that, the fun thing about Starfish main stage, especially zones on Starfish main stage, is that it's a map that is both very good for backliners, but also very good for like Slayer kind of frontline weapons, because there's so much opportunity to flank. So it makes it always a really interesting game to watch.
So we got an E-leader on one side and a scope on the other.
Ooh, you'll love to see it. Interested to see the E-leader, how that's going to work out here. Looks like that's Barry there on the E-leader. And that actually might be a pretty good pick here. That little bit of extra range to be able to reach from this kind of back snipe here could actually be really helpful. We will see.
And it looks like they're not really going for picks per se. They got an assist right there, but it looks like they're using the E-leader just for paint protection, just to lock down the zone. I actually like that a lot. They're going up close and personal to counter the Ink Storm as well, but now they're back up on the perch, but this time Fantasy has control of the zone. We'll see if that stays for long. Oh, nope. Now it's CST Gang and Barry getting the zone once again. They're just trading the zone like trading cards, and we'll see who can get more points quicker.
Yeah, absolutely. I have to admit, I was shocked to see at the start of the game how fast Barry was able to get that Ink Storm. I mean, that charge was like immediate from that E-leader, which is interesting. We have now CST Gang and Barry taking a big lead, pushing down to 35 points, but going 2 members down, and it looks like Fantasy pushing into mid. Ooh, that's CST Gang now going down all 4 members, having to really pull back. And this could be Fantasy's opportunity to really make something happen. Wow, look at this. We see Lost
going on an
really good
absolute
use
run.
of that roller.
Yeah, no, it started with CST Gang and Barry sort of reaching a little bit, trying to overextend a little bit, and that has just resulted in Lost just ruining their entire run, cutting down the lead like they're mowing the grass, replacing all of that green with blue, and they're about to take the lead, and Lost is personally making sure that they ruin the day of every member of CST Gang and Barry.
Yeah, I really love what we're seeing from Lost here. You saw the way they were really kind of playing around the ledges, which is something that Carbon is so good at, and that is it. A knockout on the side of Fantasy. I mean, that for a game that like we said, I mean, CST Gang really managed to get a big lead at the start. What is it that you think that Fantasy did there to be able to kind of take that back and hold that zone so well?
Plain and simple, they got cocky, and Lost just punished them, sent them to detention. now they're writing "I will not overextend" 5,000 times on the chalkboard. But yeah, hopefully they won't make that mistake again as we head into map 2, which is Clam Blitz on the Reef. This has a lot more opportunity for faster, shorter range compositions, so we might see a bit of a shakeup. We might see funny movement, flanking routes, that kind of thing. Maybe CST Gang and Barry can bring it back. They weren't really using backlining for picks, so maybe they can bring out some crazy kind of movement.
Absolutely, absolutely. I definitely think so. I'm interested to see if we see that Tenterbrella come out again. I'm pretty sure we will. And I think that can be a really useful tool in Clam Blitz, especially to have that shield to help push up a little bit. I am also interested to see what we see come out for backline here. I doubt we're going to see the E-Leader again, but as far as on the side of Fantasy, I really hope that we see Lost bring out that carbon roller one more time.
Yeah. No, I don't see Chargers. I mean, we could see a scope, like, at most when it comes to range. But me personally, if I was playing backline, Clam Blitz on the Reef, I'd bring out a Splatling. Gives me a little more mobility. Gives me more sustained firepower at more ranges. That's something that's going to work in a lot more situations in Clam Blitz.
Absolutely, especially if you have something like the heavy remix, where you have that Booyah Bomb that will help you kind of clear the way to push up, or even something like one of the Nautiluses, which is just like kind of the ultimately mobile Splatling.
So let's see what they've got.
Oh, the Explosher coming out.
Is that the Undercover Brella? Oh, no, that's the Tenterbrella.
Now we have the Tent and the Explosher on the side of CST Gang. That's Barry with the Explosher. This is going to be really interesting. I like that we see the Tri-Slosher coming out. I think that's a really good pick. There's a lot of ledges here in this map, and I think the Tri-Slosher can be really useful for that. We absolutely do see the Carbon Roller coming out again. Very good pick. Great weapon for Clam Blitz. And just as I say that, Lost going down. We see the custom Jet Squelcher, and interestingly enough, that Splattershot Junior, the Vanilla Junior for the added armors on the side of Fantasy. I really like that.
Bringing in the Tenterbrella is interesting, though. That coupled with the rest of the weapons on the comp of CST Gang and Barry, it looks like they're probably just going to tank it. They're going to try to charge from cover, and yeah, no, it doesn't really look like they're necessarily going to try to sneak up on Fantasy, but it really comes down to whether or not they're able to position themselves correctly so that that shield works and they're able to make the drive that they need to.
Yeah, absolutely. So Fantasy coming up with the quick lead, push it down to 80 points. But as we saw last set, that doesn't always mean a whole lot. They weren't able to really get a lot of points on the board. They do have a power clam, and right now CST Gang has only 2 clams on the board and our 2 members down. So I wouldn't be surprised to see Fantasy start to push up again. I think we'll probably see that Kent come and start to help their members push up. And the Stingray coming out. We definitely see Fantasy right now trying to just clear the way. There they go, breaking the barrier again, and the second power clam in, and just like that, very, very quickly pushing down to 32 points.
Yeah, Fantasy has come out with so many Stingrays, and they've just done a really good job at pushing. Yeah, you really do need subtlety when it comes to engaging in a team against this, because if they can see all of the enemies on the other team, chances are they're already coming up with a plan to engage, clear, and advance, and that's what they've been doing. They already have another power clam on deck. We might see another Stingray here in, not too long at all. Already it's on deck. And yeah, we'll see if CST Gang has an answer for just the crazy action that Fantasy's coming out with.
Yeah, CST Gang does have 2 specials on board now. It looks like they're trying to start something, but unfortunately their only power clam goes down. We have Barry pushing in with the baller, but they can make this push and they can get a full wipe on Fantasy, but if they don't have the clams to make up that disadvantage, I mean, there's not a whole lot they can do here.
Not at all. Yeah, Lost looks like they're about to go on another run again, picking up clams, painting like crazy. That's the next power clam. That's the barrier broken. Lost can't get any picks on the board, though, so it'll be up to the rest of the members to see if they can't widen the gap a little bit, and they do, only just. So
Yeah.
now it's 100 to 18.
I mean, Turtle doing a really great job of shutting that push down. Unfortunately, I mean, they're going to need to do a lot more than shut pushes down right now to take this game. And it looks like they are trying to push up. Only a few clams on the board, but they are at the very least getting quite a bit of map control, making room for their entire team to push up. So let's see if this pans out to anything for them.
Yeah, for like a minute and 10 seconds, they have not put any on the board, any points, and they have allowed too many points to go through their side. So they really need to pick themselves up. Otherwise, Fantasy is just going to mow them down from before. As we're getting a triple from Sunshine. Very well done. Really liking the shots coming out of that K-Pro. Very good range, all that. And
Absolutely.
now they're picking up more clams. Are they going to get another power clam?
You know, with 30 seconds on the board, we see that K-Pro was holding on to that Booyah Bomb, now throwing it kind of at the last second to help kind of defend their zone here. But yeah, Fantasy looks like not able to get the knockout here. That Power Clam goes down, picked back up, and then down again. They were really hoping to get that knockout there, but CST Gang able to fend them off. 5 seconds left on the clock, and I just don't see this push happening down to 16 points here.
Yeah, well done to Geo for shutting down that last assault and preventing a knockout, but now it really is just up to CST Gang and Barry to just play it really carefully or just go for broke as they just automatically put in those last two power clams. And now they got to scramble to get the rest of the clams in and try to extend their time on the barrier, but it doesn't look like they were able to do it, and that's game. Fantasy
game.
takes the map and the set. Really, it looks like they just had CST Gang and Barry exactly where they wanted them, and they were able to exploit that just so many times. Just CST Gang, on the other hand, they really didn't have too much going on the offensive side, and they really had no answer to Fantasy on the defensive side.
Yeah, I
So,
mean, if you look at the KAs on the side of Fantasy, I mean, we had Sunshine with 17, Lost had 14. I believe there was another member on that team that had 14 KA as well. I mean, that is just, they really played to the strategy of if we keep our opponents dead the whole game, then they can't counterplay us. And it worked out.
yeah. But CST Gang and Barry gets a redemption map, tower control on Anchovy Games. What do you see with regards to them switching up their strategy?
You know, I wouldn't be surprised if we see the swap from Barry back onto a Charger. I don't know if we'll see the E-Leader here, but maybe something like a Vanilla Splat Charger or even a Firefin. Um, the thing is, CST Gang and Barry, they've done a pretty good job of being able to get map control, at certain times. They just have been, it's in the one-on-one fights that is where Fantasy is really shining. I mean, like we said, you look at the KAs between the two teams, and Fantasy just is doing phenomenal numbers right now. I think that we're gonna have to see. I don't want to say just more aggression, but we really need to see, the members of CST Gang and Barry start to win these 1v1s and these team fights.
So let's get to it. So we do see Chargers come out on each side. Looks like they're both variations of the splatter scope.
Yeah, I do like that we see the Firefin coming out here. I think that that splash wall can actually be pretty useful on tower here. There are a couple points on this map where you can actually get that splash wall to stick on the tower, which can be really helpful.
All right. Yeah, it doesn't look like anyone's hopping on the tower yet, but it looks like CST Gang and Barry is close to, and they've put the first points on the board.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, they're doing exactly what they need to. You look at that right off the bat. Fantasy went 3 members down, and CST Gang now has 3 specials on board, and it's all 4 members up. I mean, just like we had said, like they really needed to start winning those team fights, and that was a team fight that was very well deserved and won on the side of CST Gang.
And yeah, this is a map mode combo that is a lot more suited to their play style and their composition. On tower control, they are able to plant their feet more and try to play the long game with their engagements. They're being patient, they're coordinating their specials, and as a result, they have the advantage this time around.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. We see CST Gang now not letting off on the pressure. They're going right back for a second push immediately. Oh, and both teams going one member down. It looks like CST Gang now going two members down. They're going to back off for the time being, but still, I mean, 62 points. It's not a huge push, but they're in a decent spot right now.
Certainly. Now Fantasy's looking for the reversal. We've got the Charger on the tower, activating the Bomb Rush. Oh, but it's cut short by the Splatter Scope on the side of Barry and CST Gang.
Yeah, we see both teams go two members down. I mean, we are really seeing CST Gang put up more of a fight this game in terms of, you know, those literal one-on-one and those team fights. We're not seeing them at a constant player disadvantage. We are really seeing them kind of hold their own. That being said, Fantasy is starting to make a push, or at least trying to, pushing down to 73 points. Are they able to keep this going? I mean, the members of CST Gang are up and ready to defend.
Yeah, but okay, yeah, no, now they're starting to push the tower back, but Fantasy managed to bring it past the first checkpoint, so it's closer than we thought it was going to be. Lost just hiding now, waiting for the right opportunity to strike and clear out as much of CST Gang and Barry as they can. They take out one, now they're painting. Got to make sure to dodge the sightline of the Charger. But we're getting some good engagements.
Absolutely, absolutely. You know, now is maybe the time that I would be getting a little bit nervous. You know, we see Lost really starting to pick up and starting to get some of these picks. I mean, just sharking around and being taken out. 3 members of Fantasy being taken out. That is very good for CST Gang, but unfortunately they did lose the lead, but they have themselves in a pretty good position to start painting the map and going for a push of their own.
It all comes down to being able to carry their momentum and then position themselves in a way that they have the advantage in a lot of these firefights. Acidity doing a good job clearing 3 members before going down themselves. And it looks like CST Gang and Barry's about to put more points on the board, but Splat Tech might have an answer for that as they activate the armor and they try to get a drop on the tower. But yeah, no, they're too late. CST Gang and Barry has taken the lead, and they're still on the tower. They're approaching the second checkpoint. The offense Stingray.
Yeah,
Causing
you'd
an
love to
assist.
see that. Doing a pretty good job of helping their team there. Are they going to be able to break that second checkpoint? And a couple members of Fantasy started going down. It looks like they are. There it is, past checkpoint 2. That is a really good spot to be in. It's not easy to get past that second checkpoint, and if Fantasy does manage to start another push, you know, CST Gang is going to have quite a ways to be able to defend before they would lose that lead.
Barry goes down, but they provided some great support that allowed CST Gang to take the lead, putting on some flips that would make FaZe Clan blush a little bit, and it might be costing Fantasy the match. They have the tower. They need to make one last push. If anyone leaves the tower, or rather if CST Gang manages to get control of the tower, it's curtains. All of the pressure is on Fantasy right now. Both squads exchanging specials, but it's the Stingray and the jump that ultimately gives CST Gang and Barry their consolation map.
Absolutely.
Good job.
We saw Turtle at the very last second jump right onto that tower. A very good performance from them. You know, we really saw them start to win some of those team fights. So now if you look at the KAs, a lot more even. I saw an 18 and a 15 KA over on the side of CST Gang and Barry. So, you know, they really managed to pull together and start taking those team fights at the end. And that was a very well-deserved Game 3 for CST Gang and Barry.
For sure. They'll certainly be taking the experience they gained into their future matches, and if we see them again soon, I look forward to it. But for now, and before we get to round 3, we're gonna take another break. So stay tuned. We got more action coming up. Keep it tight. We are back. It's round 3. We've got Mictlan Heroes versus Universal. Can you tell us about these teams?
Mictlan Heroes is a team that we see pretty often here at IPL events. I believe we see them at both testing grounds and Swimmer Sync quite a bit. A really, really strong team. I definitely think they're going to put on a good performance. I'll be honest, Universal is a team that I don't know a whole lot about, but I am very excited to see how this matchup goes here. Are you familiar with Universal at all?
No, not really. They're a newer team to me. Don't even recognize the players.
Yeah,
but I'm sure we'll get a good showing out of them.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. So it looks like pretty soon we're going to be going into game one here, starting Rainmaker on Manta Maria. What are your thoughts on this map?
It's not going to be as fast-paced as Black Belly Skate Park. There's a lot of verticality on Manta Maria and a lot of barriers to go across, but it really depends. If one team is able to overwhelm the other with their offense, we could get something that's relatively quick. We'll just have to see what comps they're coming out with. I'm expecting more close range, more firepower up front, maybe some armor as specials.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. I think Rainmaker on Manta Maria can be kind of a grindy map, right? There's going to be a lot of scrapping in mid, and it tends to be the type of map that can go back and forth quite a bit. We see Splatlinks coming out on both sides here, which I like a lot. I think that's a pretty powerful weapon on a place like Manta where you have that high ground on both sides.
Yeah, that's appropriate. I mean, unless you personally prefer charges and those are like your main weapon, I would say if you're gonna backline on Manta Maria, better to use a Splatling. There's not too many extremely long sight lines for you to snipe, and you'll want that sustained firepower for when you're just grinding out mid, especially on Rainmaker.
Absolutely. So we see Universal picking up the Rainmaker, not making it very far, kind of hanging back, already popping that Stingray, but Mictlan Heroes, it looks like trying to take some bit of mid control. That Splatling getting a couple of picks, but Universal again getting the pop on that Rainmaker, and it looks like they're trying to push up on this left side here, something that you really don't see as often, but maybe they'll be able to make something happen.
Yeah, it's all patience. I mean, they've shown that they're able to start pushes, but just with the map setup and with the way that Mictlan Heroes is perching themselves, it really comes down to whether or not they're able to make a sustained push and whether or not they know the pathway they need to go in order to avoid as much heat as possible. They are
Absolutely.
gaining points slowly by slowly. Oh my goodness, they just slid through though.
There it is.
But
And
yeah, no, instantly they were just shut down.
we
So
saw Woof there. I mean, doing such a good job of holding that Rainmaker. I don't know if you noticed, there was a point where they had 10 missiles coming down and a
I saw
Stingray
that.
pointed directly at them.
I
And
saw
then
that.
immediately after them, dodging, an Ink Storm and a Suction Bomb at the same time. I mean, that was really, really phenomenal carry on that Rainmaker. Pushing down to 39, and it's very well deserved. Let's see if the Mictlan Heroes can make the comeback here. I mean, they're going on that right side, which is, the shortest way, but also is pretty easily defendable.
Yeah, all you have to do is choose your moment. Right now, they're being patient themselves. Oh, they just lost it. Yeah, Lao on the side of Mictlan Heroes was trying to clear from far away with the Stingray in order to get a good path for the Rainmaker to go through. But sadly, it wasn't really too much avail. Now Universal's got the Rainmaker again, and Mictlan Heroes hasn't been cleared. A lot of their players have already spawned again, but they're certainly shaken up.
Absolutely. I am just shocked at how often and how many specials we're seeing come out from Mictlan Heroes. It seems like they have a special on the board and a special being popped at any given time. It is really impressive.
Maybe that's just their gear strategy, just racking up the special charge speed and then just coordinating specials and just overwhelming Universal with specials in order to make the best possible push.
Yeah, I
It
mean, right
hasn't
now, there's
worked so far. It sounds like a good idea on paper, but they need the right time to do it.
and there it is. And there it is, the push down to 11 for Mictlan Heroes. They had, the Stingray and Tandem Missiles kind of come out at the same time again, which is something that we saw earlier. They coordinated the Stingray and Tandem Missiles, which is a really, really good strategy, to really be able to make a lot of things that your opponents have to dodge. And because of it, they were able to push all the way down to 6.
Yeah. It's really just on Universal now in order to just time the offense right, get everything into position, and then just blitz through the map. It's not going to be easy for sure, especially now that Mictlan Heroes is just on their stuff, and they've got specials on deck. But there's always a chance, especially with Universal just playing as hard as they have been.
Absolutely. And we see Woof here again holding that Rainmaker. Like we said before, really, really good at dodging bombs, dodging specials, and you definitely need to be against a team like Mictlan Heroes. Unfortunately, not able to push past that 39 point, but they do leave the Rainmaker in a pretty advantageous position. Going 2 down, it looks like they're not going to be able to keep this push going, but they are certainly trying.
Oh, looks like Mictlan's had a DC, but it's too late to replay, so we'll have to see if they stick through it.
Yeah, I mean, with 10 seconds left in the game, they very well may be able to just defend and prevent Universal from picking up that Rainmaker.
If they pull it off, and they have,
There it is.
it'll be a great statement. Like, we're able to maintain a lead no matter how disadvantaged we end up being at the end.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, luckily for them, they only had to play, about the last 30 seconds of that match without, one of their Slayer players, still able to hold on to that lead. I mean, that was a really, really phenomenal game from Mictlan Heroes. We saw quite a lot of patience from them, really able to kind of hang back and wait for moments when they had a lot of specials on deck. They were able to really coordinate well. That's something that I really like from Mictlan Heroes. You tend to see their specials come out, at the same time, and they make such good use of it.
Yeah, I think that's the main difference in just the strategy style between Mictlan Heroes and Universal that I noticed. Universal, like when they had the Rainmaker, they spread out and they just surveyed the area and then they made pushes when it was appropriate. And that will work in a decent amount of situations, but in the case of Mictlan Heroes, everyone was rallied together, everyone was using their specials together, everyone pushed together so that the Rainmaker had very little vulnerability, and that just allowed them to maintain the advantage.
Absolutely. One thing that I really liked that we saw from Universal is their players really had a lot of survivability. Just like we saw Woof there, dodging all those specials and those bombs while holding the Rainmaker. And it's something that we saw kind of throughout the games. Their players were really able to live through some pretty sticky situations. So I'm interested to see how we see that skill set kind of pan over to our next map here, which is Splat Zones on Skipper Pavilion. That survivability can be really useful in a game mode where you're trying to defend a point rather than just push forward.
For sure. Yeah, Skipper Pavilion is always a fun map. It's more fun on the other modes where there are more mobile objectives, but even in Splat Zones, there are a lot of good routes you can take, a lot of sight lines that work well for a lot of different weapons. Backliners probably love this map a lot. What do you think we'll see with regards to specials? Both teams have subbed as well, so we'll be seeing a different player lineup.
Oh, that will be interesting. In that case, I'm really interested to see how the comps change. One thing that I really liked that we saw from Mictlan Heroes last time was their kind of Slayer combination of having that Tri-Slosher Nouveau and the K-Shot. I'm interested to see if we'll see that come out again. I think that can be a really, really good duo for capping a zone. However, like you said, this is a map that really favors longer range weapons as well. So I wouldn't be surprised if we see Splatlings coming out from both teams again. Oh, we have double chargers. An E-Leader and a Squiffer on the side of Universal. The double charger, that's interesting. And
meanwhile, Mictlan Heroes is going to see if they can't make that ball point do all the range work for them. It's an interesting clash of dynamics. What are you expecting to have out of this?
I don't. It's hard to say. Seeing the double the double charger comp come out, that's going to be interesting. To be fair, they are two weapons that play very differently. But I think right off the bat, we see Mictlan Heroes doing a pretty good job of making good use of that ballpoint. I also noticed on that end zap, we have last ditch effort, which will be interesting. For them to really be able to have that sort of the ink economy there on something like an NZAP is going to be really important. I think that will help them in capping the zone consistently. So we're going to see how that plays out. But just as I say that, of course, Universal coming in, capping the zone for themselves, trying to make a push, and Mictlan Heroes making an attempt to come back in.
Still, very good early lead from Mictlan Heroes. I feel like if they're I like the aggressive play. If they're able to keep the zone painted and keep players painting the zone and just fending off against enemies, all the while having someone to harass the E leader so they don't really have to worry about fire from range, they'll be in a good shape. But right now, Universal is doing a good job of planning their food themselves. And after they get this deficit, they could be in a position to take the lead.
Absolutely, absolutely. So Mictlan Heroes, well, I guess fortunately for Mictlan Heroes, unfortunately for Universal, they were able to come in, and while they couldn't really take the zone, with that burst bomb rush coming out from that soda slosher, were able to cap it just momentarily, giving a pretty good penalty. Universal able to just push through that, pushing down to 40 points now, but it looks like Mictlan Heroes starting to try and make something happen. Ooh, unfortunately not able to cap the zone. Universal takes it back, and they're immediately pushing down all the way to 30.
Yeah, Universal having really, really good map vision and really, really good situational awareness. Every question that Mictlan Heroes pops them, they've got an answer for. And it might just lead to them getting the knockout.
Yeah, it certainly looks like it, and there it is, the
There it is.
knockout on the side of Universal. So for the first time on stream tonight, we have a set that's not starting off with a 2-0 from one team. We have Mictlan Heroes and Universal going 1-1. So let me ask you this: after a really, really phenomenal and kind of dominant game that we saw from Mictlan Heroes in Game 1, what is it that you think worked out so well in Universal's favor in Game 2?
It's a good question. I feel like it could just come down to the map and the mode suiting them more, as well as them just rallying themselves. It could also just be them learning how the other team operates and coming up with answers for that. I mean, Mictlan Heroes sort of scrapped together to get that first win. And Universal was sort of keeping them on their toes throughout. In fact, Universal had the lead to start with. By the time the second map came along, it looked like they had everything figured out and they were able to coordinate a lot better. Now we're going to Clam Blitz on Piranha Pit, and which is one of my favorite map mode combos. And I feel like this is going to be where Universal shows whether or not they really do get this other team.
Oh, absolutely. Clam Blitz on Piranha Pit. I mean, this is a fun map because the area of play is really so small. I mean, you have those big areas in the back, but the distance between the actual two clam baskets is so small, and both teams all the players really are going to spend a lot of time just in mid, kind of fighting it out for control of that area, and for those clams that all seem to spawn right there in that middle area.
I've just received word that Mictlan has subbed 2 of its players. That could be another factor. Different player compositions could be leading to more success on one side or the other. So maybe we'll see if Mictlan Heroes is able to clap back. Maybe they've got some mode specialists that work a lot better in Clam Blitz. We're just going to have to wait and see. What do you think we're going to see with regards to specials, though?
On something like this, I would not be surprised to see they had that soda slosher on the side of Mictlan Heroes last game. I would not be surprised to see that come out again, because that burst bomb rush, really any bomb rush, can be so useful in Clam Blitz when you want to just very quickly push into your opponent's area to get close to that basket. So I wouldn't be surprised to see that come out. Also, definitely wouldn't be surprised to see some Booyah bombs come out. Maybe we'll see a heavy remix on either side. We have seen both teams bring out Splatlings already this set. So I'm definitely thinking that. I would have to guess that we're going to see the K-52 again on the side of Mictlan Heroes. With those Tenna missiles, that's just such a useful weapon in all modes. And I'm really interested to see what we see from Universal, because their comps game 1 to game 2 were so very different. Game 2 coming out with the double chargers after Game 1 having just the single heavy splatling, vanilla heavy splatling for their backline.
So yeah, let's see what comps we see. Okay, so we see a Nautilus,
Oh,
one
Nautilus
on
on
each
both
side,
teams. Ah, that's
and then we've
interesting.
got we've got some range on both sides as well. We've got a K Pro on the side of Universal. We got a Boozla on the side of Mictlan Heroes. Really interesting stuff.
Yeah, we're seeing big changes in comp on both teams. We also have that Kensa Octobrush coming out on the side of Universal. I think that could be really useful here. A lot of mobility, and a pretty strong pick on a map like this where there's a lot of close quarters combat happening.
Yeah, looks like Mictlan Heroes is making their new setup work for them as they're picking up clams, they're painting zones, they're getting some good picks. We've got an Inkjet coming out already, but Universal is still in it. In fact, they've got the clam advantage, but neither side has a power clam yet. Oh no, Universal has one. So,
Yeah, Universal
so
with 21 clams on the board. I mean, that is a really good position to be in. We see Booyah Bombs coming out from both teams almost at the same time, and Universal doing a pretty good job of pushing up, going one member down, but putting a lot of pressure on with that hammer and some bombs. Really doing a good job of getting in close to that basket.
yeah, so it was just a matter of getting all the specials in order, just overwhelming the other team. But they weren't really able to take advantage of it as no real advancements were made.
You're absolutely right. Unfortunately, not getting the break on the barrier, and Mictlan Heroes now kind of doing their best to build up their clams. They have a power clam on the board, and are really playing kind of slow here, which I like to see. They're definitely waiting for the right time to start pushing in.
For sure. And yeah, no, it looks like it's just a grind right now. Mictlan Heroes still has their power clam, but they're just waiting for the right opportunity. We see the Tenna missiles come out. We see bombs being exchanged. We see Booyah bombs being exchanged, but nothing is quite happening at this moment. It
Yeah,
looks like neither side is really seeing an opportunity to push forward.
quite an even matchup happening in mid, really, where all the players are fighting. I mean, look at this. We're almost 2.5 minutes into this game, almost halfway through this game, and we haven't seen either team break a barrier yet. And that's not the fault of either team playing poorly. Rather, that they're both really managing to get a lot of picks. And just like that, we see Mictlan Heroes now taking out two members of Universal. This might be the opportunity that they need to start pushing up. But Universal does have that Inkjet and is trying to shut down that push.
Yeah. But Mictlan Heroes keeps trucking on. They've got a power clam, maybe another power clam, even though it's out of play. But Universal's clapping back. They just need to They just need to start gathering clams. They need to just stop Mictlan Heroes from overwhelming them.
Absolutely. We really don't see a lot of clams on either side right now. Pushing down now, we're more than 3 minutes into the game. There we go. We finally have the first barrier break coming out. Universal breaking Mictlan Heroes barrier and starting to get some points on the board right away, pushing down to 59. Doesn't look like they'll be able to push much further than that.
Oh no, 53.
Oh.
Yeah, no, they got some good picks. They put some more clams in, but is that going to be it? Yeah, it seems like
Yeah, I
Mictlan
mean,
Heroes just rallied together and put on a really quick defense, but now there's only 1 minute and 13 seconds left on the clock, and I mean, it's not the worst deficit in the world, but to be scored on this late in the game, they've got to be scrambling right now.
absolutely, absolutely. We saw, Universal. It took them a while to make that push, but when they did, it was worth it. They really were able to put quite a lot of points on the board there. Mictlan Heroes is like you said, really going to have to find a lot of clams to make something happen here. They got one power clam on the board now, 21 clams altogether. If they can manage to get those all in a single push, I mean, they can take the lead, right? They have enough clams on their side to take the lead, but it's a matter of whether they'll be able to get in. And both teams going two down. which is a good thing if you're on the side of Universal right now.
Yeah, right now Universal is just doing everything they can to stop the clam from being pushed any further. And so far, it looks like they're succeeding. But Mictlan Heroes has 2 power clams in play and a couple more gathered around. And it looks like they're about to make use of an opportunity. They're passing the power clam around. They're picking it up. Ooh, but Universal is just shutting it down at every corner. Oh my goodness.
Oh.
They just see the power clam and it's like they're smelling blood. And
And we see the
that just might
booyah
be it.
from Archer. Yeah,
Yeah.
Mictlan Heroes going 3 members down in overtime. Unfortunately, not gonna be able to get that barrier break. But still, really, really a good performance from both teams. Like we had said, just such a stalemate in the center there, and Universal really able to capitalize on the push when they did finally get to make it.
Very well done to Universal. They just kept the energy going. They pushed forward until they saw an opening. They capitalized on that opening as much as they could. And then, with the limited time that they had left, they just prevented Maitland Heroes from doing the same. And that gave them the set.
Absolutely, absolutely. But again, really good performance from both teams there. So we are going to take another short break, and we'll be back. This is the end of the group stages here. When we get back, we will be into the single elimination phase of Swim or Sink 16. Stick around for more Splatoon
You
action.
won't want to miss it. Stay tuned.
Krakens holding cameras?
Hello and welcome back to Swim or Sink 16, presented by Inkling Performance Labs. I am Adam, or Crit. I am here with Bash, and we are about to get back into round 4 of this tournament. But before we do, we want to talk about a couple things that are coming up this weekend that some of the players out there might be interested in. First of all, there is it's Dangerous to Go Alone, which is a solo registration tournament happening this Saturday. Signups are happening right now and they end pretty soon, but it's going to be a really cool tournament if you want to maybe find some new teammates or just play with some different people. You can find that at otd.inc/signup. That's Off the Dial, a organization that puts together some tournaments for Splatoon. And you can also find more about that in their Discord, otd.inc/discord. And the other tournament, we're running out of time here. We're getting into round 4, but the other tournament I want to talk about is I Dare You. That's Dare, Dair, like a melee dare, which is a big tournament that's going to be kind of including a bunch of different Nintendo communities. There's going to be Smash tournaments, Splatoon tournaments, and there is a $600 prize pool for the Splatoon tournament. That's going to be a really cool one. You definitely want to sign up. I believe that's happening this Thursday and Friday. And that you can find out more information at smash.gg/i-dare-u-1.
It's going to be a crazy tournament. That free entry too. But
Yeah,
let's focus on this. We got Friends
absolutely.
versus Krakens. Bracket round 1. Best 3 out of 5. We're going right into it. Tower control on Sturgeon Shipyard. Lots of verticality. Are we going to see some long range? Yeah, we see a Nautilus. And then we see a Scope, I believe that is.
Absolutely. That scope, I believe, is coming out on the side of Krakens, right?
I believe so, yes.
So right away here, we see Kraken's trying to push up and take the tower, going 3 members down, as Friends is going to actually pull back a little bit. That's interesting to see. Oh no, I'm sorry. They're pushing forward a little bit. That's good to see. Really, we see their Slayers making a lot of room for their team to push up and start pushing that tower. Already pushing all the way down to 45 points.
Yeah, earlier in the match, it seemed like both teams were just exchanging like Wall Street, but it looks like Friends managed to get the upper hand, managed to get picked without getting picked themselves, and that's allowed them to take the lead, and now they're maintaining it, putting a lot of good pressure on Krakens.
Yeah, absolutely, and they are not letting off on that pressure. We have Isaac trying to pull out a couple picks, popping that inkjet, just barely surviving through that stingray, and then unfortunately going down to the 10 attack as soon as they land. But that's it. I mean, a very very quick knockout from Friends onto Krakens.
Yeah,
That was a surprising round for me. There are I know a lot of very, very strong players on the side of Krakens. We have Latias, a pretty well known charger from Australia, and Hazard, who is a really phenomenal T Tech. I think that very early lead, the fact that Friends was able to get 3 of Kraken's members down right away at the start, really did a lot of good for them. But I'm interested to see how Krakens is going to change it up a little bit and see what they can do in our next map, Rainmaker, on Black Belly Skate Park.
yeah, that inkjet was a really good diversion. That previous match, just trying to duel the Stingray a little bit, just keeping all eyes on it, and that allowed Friends to just sneak by and take the set. I'm not sure the map rather. We still got a couple more games before they can take the set. Rainmaker on Black Belly, they could sneak through, but it's going to take a lot more than just a simple diversion to get one team taking advantage over the other. Both teams are probably going to be on high alert.
Absolutely. I think something to note here is that on the side of Krakens, we have Latias, who mains that vanilla splat charger, and so is really well versed in the Stingray, which is such a phenomenal weapon for Rainmaker on Black Belly. So that could be a little bit of an advantage for them. Also worth noting that we are swapping to a best of 5 format here. We're no longer doing a 3 rounds, play all 3. This is going to be a best of 5. So right away, France coming out with the 1-0 has got to feel good. That's some good momentum for them. But like we said, there's a lot of really, really phenomenal players on Krakens, so I don't think this is even close to over just yet.
Yeah, it'll be really cool seeing what both squads pull out, seeing how their comps might differ.
Absolutely.
I can't wait.
Yeah, I'm hoping and thinking that we're definitely going to see the Nautilus come out again from Isaac. Just a really good choice. They're obviously very comfortable with that Inkjet. We saw them putting it to good use in the last game, and I'm almost certain that we will see the Dynamo come out again from Vanessa on the side of Friends. I believe she is a Dynamo main. So.
And it looks like we're about to get started in just a little bit. TV loading in. There we go. Let's see how fast this match lasts.
Yeah,
So the Nautilus
absolutely.
is still out. Your prediction was right. Oh, but we don't get that charger anymore. It looks like we're
No.
going quad shooter on the side of Krakens.
Wow, that is really interesting to see the double sploosh 7. What do you think about that? I mean, are they hoping to just pull off some hammer shenanigans?
Yeah, either way, they're going to be playing fast and they're going to be playing hard. So Friends needs to make sure they stand their ground if they want to take this next game.
Yeah, absolutely. Interesting. We see Latias, like you said, coming out with the custom jet squelcher, a really popular weapon for this map, and for a good reason. I mean, it's got the stingray, but also, shooters are just good here on Black Belly. Right away, we have Friends starting to make a push. They don't get too far though. They are doing a good job of taking mid control, however.
Definitely. A lot of paint going there. We see a member of Krakens trying to take the flank. Very fast missiles. And yeah, no, that they took that, they pushed forward for a reason. Krakens now has control of the Rainmaker. And now they're going to try to sneak by, but... Ooh, wait. Is it still in play? Oh, no, it isn't.
No, so that's 2 of their frontline players going down. Not good, but we do still have Latias here kind of holding down the back line, providing a good anchor for their team.
A noble attempt. Yeah, Krakens just needs to be able to clear a better path if they want to make something out of the next push. We see Latias bringing out the Stingray, trying to take people out that way. On the meantime, the Rainmaker is pushing through, quickly getting points up, but not quick enough to take the lead.
No, but they are in a decent position here. That Rainmaker has pushed up a little bit past where they have map control, so it looks like that Rainmaker is going to fall back into the hands of Friends. Kraken's definitely trying to kind of make that scattered push to get the cheeky lead. Like you said, you can sometimes have an opportunity to sneak past your opponents here on this map. Unfortunately, they weren't quite able to make that happen, and we do have Friends now getting ready to make another push of their own.
Yep. Just making sure everything's clear before they do. But Krakens takes the Rainmaker, and they take the lead. The Ultra Stamp. Not quite able to plant it, but yeah, no, that's what I'm talking about, sneaking past.
Yep, Krakens does go 4 members down, but looks like it was worth it, taking the lead all the way down to 6. I mean, as we predicted, going for some hammer shenanigans for sure.
Yeah, those hammers did a really good job of just stopping them in their tracks, planting them like nails on a wood board.
Yeah, that Sploosh 7, not the best weapon for winning team fights, but a very good weapon for that sort of cheeky mobility in just the right moments.
Definitely. But now it looks like Friends has controlled the Rainmaker again. Ooh, that was a very good Rainmaker kill on the side of, can't quite read that name, but it is on the side of Friends. Now they're just painting, trying to make sure they're able to move forward. Don't want to be too hasty. There we go, there we go, there we go. Oh, but the Stingray rejects it.
Yeah, Friends was doing a really good job of sticking together, and Isaac absolutely just doing a great job of uh, dodging a lot of splat bombs, but unfortunately being taken out by the Stingray.
Oh, but
Rainmaker,
Krakens has the Rainmaker now. They were able to dodge the attempt of running it back, and now they've basically reset it.
yeah, Rainmaker being kind of put back in mid here. Both teams trying to regroup a little bit, get themselves in a good position to start up a push.
Yeah, no, if I'm Krakens, I just keep Friends back as much as possible, and then just run the Rainmaker. But now
Absolutely.
it looks like that's what Friends is going to try to do. They're going all on the left, and then they're starting to spread out a little bit, trying to clear a path. But the Stingray is not having it.
Again, that's twice in a row. Latias coming in with the last minute
Oh, but they took it
Stingray.
back. Oh, but briefly. They're not giving
Wow.
up. You have to admire
What a fight.
just how tough they are. And is that going to be the knockout? No, but they bring it out to 1. Literally 1. Now the Krakens have the Rainmaker, and they literally have to get a KO if they want to win the map.
You know, the thing I like about Rainmaker is it truly is never over till it's over.
Especially not on this map.
Exactly. Krakens does still have a chance, but it is not going to be easy. All 4 members up. Friends going 1 member down, losing that K-Pro. Is Krakens going to be able to extend this? You know, you have 2 specials on board, the Tenna Missiles and the Inkjet on the side of Friends. That
Both
is going to be
squads
tough to avoid.
scrambling like an omelet right now. Just got to be careful to, get the good picks with the Rainmaker, but make sure your team is watching your back. All right, they're running up, they're running up. Ooh.
Oh my
This
gosh.
is so tense. 10 seconds left on the Rainmaker timer.
Doing
It's
a great
do or
job of
die.
avoiding all
It's
those
do or
bombs.
die. Push forward now. Oh,
Oh.
no. But yeah, just at the right moment. What a way to clutch out the map on the side of Friends. They really took it down to the last point, 99-94. What a nail biter.
I really seeing Krakens, I mean, at the end of that game get so close to that goal, thought that they were going to get the KO. That was a phenomenal performance from both teams.
But now we got Clam Blitz on Snapper Canal. I mean, Friends could probably do the same thing that they're doing and succeed.
Absolutely.
I feel like this map mode combo favors that blitzing, fast-paced play. But if Krakens is able to clear their head, try to play a little bit more methodically, maybe intercept that offense and then follow up, it could work really well for them.
Yeah,
They just need to make sure that they not only defend well, but when given the opportunity, they make good pushes of their own. And I haven't really been seeing that. I mean, we saw it last match, but every chance that they tried, Friends just had the answer for it.
Well, something that we've really seen from Friends and that I really like is they are able to elongate their pushes. When Friends we saw made the push down to 30 and it looked like it was over, they picked the Rainmaker back up immediately, pushed down to 11, again got taken out. It looked like it was over, picked the Rainmaker back up and pushed all the way down to 1. Right? They are able to take these situations where it looks like multiple team members have been taken out. They should fall back, but somehow they were able to just keep extending that push to make a little bit extra happen. And in a mode like Clam Blitz, that's a very important skill to have.
Yeah, it seems like while operating on both ends of the map, the main strategy that Krakens is just going to want to employ is clam control. Just make sure you know where the clams are at all times, and make sure you're able to access them at all times, because if Friends gathers a lot of clams and they break the barrier, like you said, they do a really good job at extending their pushes. We could see them go from 100 to like 50 in one push, or maybe even like a one push KO, depending on how much they overwhelm Krakens. So yeah, they just got to control the clams.
we will see what happens. I'm definitely interested to see what sort of changes we see coming out on the side of Krakens, whether it be in comp or just in game plan. Again, Krakens has been able to make some really good, really solid pushes. So I
We
wouldn't
got
be
a
surprised to.
squeezer.
Yes, absolutely. You love to see the squeezer. Squeezer coming out on the side of Krakens, as well as, of course, Isaac rocking that Nautilus again weapon there very well versed with.
We'll see how good that trigger finger is. See if they'll be popping any champagne in celebration. Right now, it seems pretty tied, but Krakens is doing what I asked them to. They're gathering clams, and Friends only has one clam right now, and they're probably going to want to try to keep it that way, but it looks like Friends is starting to win a few more engagements.
Yeah, Kraken's unfortunately going 3 members down. That is not how you want to start off such an aggressive map mode like Clam Blitz here.
And now Friends has the advantage. They're just gathering clams. They just need to generate a power clam, and they can make their first push, especially with that armor. And if they keep their shots on target, this will be a really good first push for them.
Absolutely. They've got good map control too, right? Once they create that first power clam, they have a clear path right to the basket, and there it is. Power clam's made, clear path to the basket, and it
There's
goes
another
in.
one.
Wow.
More clams left and right. This is what I was talking about. You can't let Friends have the clams, or you're just gonna have a really bad time at it. And it looks like they just shut down the offense there, but still, 100 to 51. That is not how you want to start that map if you are Krakens.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. I think our colors on the stream here are incorrect. It looks like that is Friends in green, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, yeah. There we are. Okay.
So it's Krakens that's going at it. Very well done to them. Yeah, because I noticed the Chargers.
Yeah. I noticed seeing Isaac and seeing Latius in the
catch.
purple. Okay, so that is actually a phenomenal first push coming out from Krakens.
So Krakens is in the good position, and now, yeah, they're gonna have to try and see if they can catch the clams and catch this game. Hazard waiting patiently, trying to figure out the right opportunity to pop the Inkjet, just throwing bombs in the meantime. Very patient, just use your moment.
Yeah, absolutely. That's something that you really need in somewhere like this where, especially in a situation like right now where Friends has 3 specials on deck. They just popped the ink armor. You don't want to be pushing in at the wrong time right now. But now it looks like they're making an opportunity for themselves. Friends going 2 members down. We have Hazard here really, really making a ruckus. Unfortunately going down themselves, but not before putting quite a damper on Friends' plan there.
Definitely. And Friends is picking up more clams, and they have the power clam, but Kraken is doing a good job at holding their ground, defending their turf. Oh, and just as I say that, they break the barrier. The baller's gonna clear more distance. The Booyah Bomb is gonna clear more distance. They're doing a brilliant job at coordinating specials, and they're already down to 32. Are they gonna put more clams in? They're making a tactical retreat, and while they're doing that, Friends is just taking more picks, increasing the timer. 5-2 game set.
There it is.
Match. Friends. Oh my goodness! If you blinked, I am so sorry. I am so sorry.
It's the same thing as last game that we saw where Friends is able to, when they do make a push, they make it matter. They make it last. They really, really make it work out in their favor. Like I said, they are able to just extend their pushes so far, no matter how much you think it might be over. They manage to continue. It's such a phenomenal skill. Just a really, really incredible performance by Friends all 3 games.
Yeah, the captain of Friends must be Nicolas Cage, because as soon as they gained momentum, that match was gone in 60 seconds.
Oh my! Right. I think you're right. So that's it. I mean, here we're at a best of three. I'm sorry, a best of 5 format. So that's going to be the end of this set. Friends moving on in this bracket. Really, really great performance by them. I believe that is going to be our last set of the night here. Last set for us. We're going to be
Commentating.
taking a short break, and then you'll be back with a couple other commentators to finish off Swimmer Sync 16. Bash, you want to tell the lovely listeners where they can find you?
Yep. I stream occasionally on my Twitch, but you can mostly find me just on Twitter at bash-4. How about you, Adam?
Yeah, same. Best place to find me would be on Twitter at critsuccess_.
Well, it has been a pleasure casting with you. These have been some crazy matches. I can't wait to see what's coming up next. Just lurking in the Twitch chat. Everyone else, keep it tight. More Splatoon action coming up. I've been Bash Dash. He's been Crit. We'll see you guys later.
Good evening, folks. Coming to you live from the underground layers of the Inkling Performance Laboratory. This is Stu, the announcer, being joined here by X-Ray for this, the 16th edition of Swim or Sink, brought to you here on twitch.tv/IPL Splatoon. And obviously, it's a great day of celebration for all of us. We all know it's, the start of a new era. We know what it is. It's obviously the birthday of K-Bot. Happy 21st, my man. It is super cool that you get to celebrate with us. And if you are watching, we love you. And even if you're not, we love you anyway. Thanks for being the hard carry that this community needs. But yeah, being joined here by X-Ray, we can get into the celebrations for K-Bot a little bit later because it's Jackpot and Universal that are going to be looking to celebrate at the end of tonight.
Absolutely. Yeah, definitely happy birthday to K-Bot. And going into the set, I will admit, I had no idea. Going into this tournament, I had no clue who Universal was, but seeing how they played earlier, they're definitely making a name for themselves today.
Yeah, honestly, and when you're talking about a lineup that you see before you in the form of Jackpot, where you have individuals like Q who have won multiple Swimmer Sing tournaments, people like Legend, Leafy, and Exy, who we have seen kind of cycle on and off that tent umbrella and do so to tremendous effect. Makes you wonder what a team like Universal can possibly throw at them. But if you've seen their games, you might know that maybe there's something that perhaps Jackpot has not yet accounted for.
Yeah, it definitely has. It doesn't seem like it'll be too clear cut as some may presume. But yeah, I believe the first game's on. Yep. Okay. First game's gonna be on Rainmaker Manta.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Rainmaker Manta. You got it. We have to make sure this. We have to make sure this stuff too, folks. But yeah, this has been an absolutely nuts tournament thus far. And Universal, of course, advancing this far by defeating Desire in 5 games. So the number 3 seed going down and immediately running into Jackpot. And after winning that Game 5 on Tower Control and Starfish main stage, many a decisive match happening on that stage lately, X-Ray, funnily enough. But they will have to wait and see if their opponents in Grand Finals will be either Wooback Wednesday or Friends. That's it is 2-2 right now in that set. But as we get started here, yeah, Rainmaker Manta Maria. That is it's a tough ask because there's so much that obviously you can. The whole point of Rainmaker is playing fast and trying to just ram the objective down your opposition's throat. But it's not even that clear cut on a map like Manta Maria, where there are so many areas where you just have to kind of look out for opponents. I'm not really sure if it's something that either Jackpot or Universal are going to really get a quick KO in.
Yeah, especially considering the weapon pool that both teams tend to have. I can't think of all the players from Universal, but I whenever I think of Universal, I immediately think of the Skipper Pavilion game they had earlier this stream, where they had like a double charger and then like a brush, and those weapons in particular don't really scream like, "Oh, we got this." So I'm definitely going to be pretty curious to see how this one plays out.
Well, I mean, if they're going Charger, probably they want to be on the back lines, but that back line and Rainmaker somehow just kind of goes together like oil and water. It doesn't really sound like the thing that you do. However, if you're trying to be mobile, perhaps there's a way to do that in the form of C-Jet. Though, I mean, you don't associate Stingray with Rainmaker, but on a map like Manta Maria, I think it could probably make that work.
Oh yeah, for sure.
I'm glad you agree. So, yeah,
Yes, right.
Rainmaker, Manta Maria, and you see the map list right there. Zone's New Albacore Hotel, certainly the Charger going to come into play in that particular map and mode. Blitz on Humpback Pump Track. We've seen a few upsets precipitate themselves from that particular map. And as we go into game number 1, they're going to have to, one of these teams is going to want to have it just go for those 3 games, but we'll have to see. Jackpot looking to get 777s on Manta Maria, or is it going to be Universal that sends them on the bus back home? Let's take a look at the compositions and then get started for game number 1.
Yeah, we see a pretty standard comp on the side of Jackpot here. One thing to point out, I saw as the gear loadout was pulled up at the start of the game. I believe Bishop on the K Machine's running like 2 mains worth of swim speed. So I'm curious to see if he's going to be the dedicated carrier.
Makes you wonder, but there's going to be no dedicated carrier on the side of Universal, as Leafy is going to score a double and really just secure the entire team wipe. 33 points on the board for Universal, but plenty of time for Jackpot to set up. Mathaway loses the 1v1 with Leafy on the Nautilus, and Leafy's going to take to the skies, eventually going to get taken down, not before a trade happens with that Kensa Octobus. So Big Shrimp is going to carry, gets a kill with Bishop, gets a kill on Bishop with the Rainmaker, avoiding the bombs, but just before the goal gets stuffed out. 91-33 is the score, and Jackpot is rolling hot in game number 1.
Yeah, very explosive and very coordinated start on the side of Jackpot. It's gonna be very difficult for Universal to pull this back, but it's never too early to call. Or no, wow, I totally messed up what I said there. But anyways.
Yeah, it's tough getting in, but Legend gonna pop the special. 4-3 on the map as it stands. Jackpot just trying to push in even further, and all the while you're seeing some of the specials coming out and getting close to, at the very least, an Inkjet on the side of Universal. They're gonna need to pop that now if they want to have any sort of impact. But just as I say that, Jackpot, you know what? You make your own luck, and certainly you make your own knockout victory. When Manta Maria could not get in position for that last level defense, and that's going to be a 1-0 victory to the boys in blue.
Yep, and I'm curious to see how how Universal is going to adjust to this next game here, as it's going to be definitely a different. Going to be at a different pace for sure. Albacore zones, typically like a more like long-range centric map in general. So yeah, I'm definitely curious to see how this plays out.
And it's funny, right? Because Jackpot winning that game via knockout, you don't even necessarily need to change your composition if you're Jackpot, because you're talking about what not Junior, Neo Splashmatic, and the Splatter Scope. You could probably just run with that and attain just about the same result. And that's kind of the interesting thing about what we saw, X-Ray. We were talking about the efficacy of a Splatter Scope on that map and mode. Didn't look like it hurt them all that much.
Oh no, not at all. Yeah, with that comp, they definitely have like plenty of their bases covered for this next game. You got the painting special, or rather multiple painting specials. You got the utility from the bombs, from all the weapons really, and yeah, you got a good like synergy across like all the main weapons.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And now when we're talking about this game 2 comeback that Universal are going to have to mount before they let this set get out of hand potentially. I mean, it's a tough ask, especially when they've established that they're willing to go with the ranged option in a mode like Rainmaker. Now, when it benefits them so heavily, like Hotel Zones, that's a daunting task to have to fill out. So not only do you have to counterplay perhaps one of the best Nautiluses in this tournament in the form of Leafy. If you're the Nautilus opposite of them, that was in fact Mattheway. But now all of a sudden you have to try to combat Big Shrimp from range and try to contest them. How do you do that aside from just trying to outrange them and go E-leader?
Yeah, that is definitely the question. I feel like they just need to take take the time to just like take a deep breath and whatnot. Like the first game was pretty overwhelming, but I definitely do think Universal's still capable.
You know what? I think they're capable. It's just a matter of whether or not they can, in fact, do it. So we're going to see who winds up contesting in grand finals. We do know one half of the bracket already. Wooback Wednesday and friends wound up going to 5 games, but on Rainmaker at Anchovy Games, it was friends that wound up coming up with the victory. So Isaac taking Vanessa, Lust for Lexi, and YRN are going to find themselves in grands, and their opposition to be determined, and we're going to see if we can get this thing going. Indeed, it's going to be a pool party at New Albacore Hotel. Keep your distance, folks. You're definitely going to need that when you got people like this. Is Shrimp going the E-leader as well? Matthew going to try to counteract with the E-leader of their own, and interestingly enough, we were talking about the Tenebrella perhaps coming into play at some point in this tournament, but yeah, that's coming out right now.
Yeah, the Tenebrella is actually going to be quite a big issue for Team Universal here, because they don't really have many. Really, they don't have any weapons with lethal bombs, minus the K-Rapid with Torpedo. So there's not going to be a good opportunity for them to reliably zone out the Tenebrella.
I mean, Leafy doing Leafy things, headhunting unapologetically. And what else can you say about the way that they've been playing thus far? Except, yeah, you're wondering why they seem to be at a man advantage all too often in this match. That could be part of the reason why Matthew is going to help their team control the zone. Going to get the kill onto Leafy as well, or the splat. I'm not really sure. Either way, what I am sure of is that there's going to be no sweep in New Albacore zones. The ink mines all around. I mean, just littered. It's looking like the DMZ, honestly, with how many mines they've got in the zone.
Yeah, absolutely.
Geopolitics joke. Yeah, I know y'all like it.
Oh yeah, for sure.
IPL is the most informed. Group in all of Splatoon. I am convinced. But Matthew going to try to recap the zone. They do have a penalty to take care of now after Jackpot did get the recap. But yeah, that's 63 points worth of progress that Jackpot were able to accumulate, and it's going to be tough to tick that down. If you get wiped, certainly just bodies flying everywhere, and Jackpot are going to recap the zone in pretty convincing fashion there, X-Ray.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, 55 to 37, definitely still doable. That push that Universal had was definitely something to at least write home about. Nothing to secure, but yeah, we see Shadow when like most like ideal situation you could be out right past the bridge, zoning out anyone in the street, providing the bubbles for the zone. It's very hard to deal with it.
Yeah, Shadowwind gonna have make themselves a tough thing to deal with as well. That Tenebrella generally is. If you've run into a high-level Tenebrella, especially in solo, you know the struggle. It is absolutely just bonkers what you have to do to play around that. Shadowwind is going to get an assist, 4-2 on the map, and they are not done yet, trying to tick away at this penalty and doing so to maximum effect. Just keeping them at a distance, and yeah, this is exactly what you want from New Albacore Hotel. These ranged lockouts, making sure that your opposition is kept at bay for as long as possible. They will be able to assess the penalty, will Universal, but Jackpot right now, yeah, they're not looking to cede control of this matchup as a whole.
Yeah, it definitely seems that it's a bit too much of an ask for a Universal here to actually get a cap. They were able to like mitigate just slightly, but at this point they're getting like wiped left and right. It's going to be very difficult, especially with 20 points left.
Yeah, so now this might just be a victory, a 2-0 for Jackpot. locking out Universal and throwing away the key. Universal definitely putting up a fight and found ways in as you saw the E leader start to take a little bit more initiative in that matchup. But yeah, when the E leader starts coming down onto zone, they found a lot of success. And in fact, Matthew getting 5 kills in that one. Leafy again though, leading the way with 14, leading the field. And yeah, that gave him the initial advantage and everything that they needed to go up 2-0. Universal, with all apologies to Pop Gun, having their backs against the wall.
For sure. Going into game 3, we have Clan Blitz Humpback. I'm very curious to see if any changes will be made for Jackpot here.
Yeah, I mean, you have a little bit more room to experiment, but then again, you're also going into a grand finals. You're going up against a team that has proven themselves in Friends, who we actually saw in the last round. There was a 3-0 against Krakens. Not a bad showing from them at all, especially that Clan Blitz map on Snapper Canal. And you may well be seeing some of that later on, but as you're getting into this, you've seen Friends, you know what you're dealing with. Is this room for Jackpot to experiment, or do you just kind of go for the 3-0 and take what you can get in terms of a victory?
It's up in the air. I mean, it's getting pretty late, so I mean, a 3-0 would be nice, but I I don't know. I'm just such a normie. I've been sleeping at very normie hours, so it's just wishful thinking on my end.
I feel you. Yeah, you're not staying up for real gamer hours like the rest of us. Is that what's happening?
Unfortunately, no.
This is my lunch break. Are you kidding me? No.
Yeah.
No. But in all seriousness, no matter where you are watching in the world, because hey, you know what? Maybe it is the lunch break for someone on the opposite end of the earth for us, and yeah, we're glad that you're joining us, and we're certainly glad that you're you. So keep doing that, and keep it tuned right here to twitch.tv/IPL Splatoon. We are getting a few substitutions for Universal for Clan Blitz, Humpback, Pump Track. Yeah, it makes you wonder. I don't think they'll be running E-Leader here, will Jackpot. But then again, ran Splatter Scope on Rainmaker. They seem to do just fine at that.
Yeah, Charger's a bit weird on Humpback Pump Track, as well as like pretty much like majority of like the weapon pool of
It's
this
not
game.
a Charger map.
Definitely not.
Yeah.
But that's not to say Charger players can't make it work, so.
Very true. We've seen some of the best in the game come here through all means, against all odds, really, and make quite a mark on the game. Actually, one of the more memorable things that I saw was someone going Clan Blitz Humpback with a Hydra Splat lane and almost making that work. That might have been a couple of weeks ago. I don't know if that was at a low ink, actually, but regardless, Clams, Humpback, Pump Track, it can be chaotic. And when Big Shrimp is carrying that Splatter Scope, you better believe it only gets more hectic from there. Legend is going to go Tri-Slosher Neveu. And we're seeing Archer come in on the K-Shot, and the K-Machine is going to be deployed as well from Universal. It's going to be a trade in the middle between the Nouveau and the K-Machine. 3-2 on the map initially. So Universal getting that advantage that they so desperately needed. Now it's a mad scramble for Clams, and yeah, they're going to want to rush into the basket. However, Charger is ready and waiting to play defense.
Yeah, for sure. We have oh wow, Jackpot taking picks left and right here. I was just about to comment how they have specials ready, but that was very short-lived. But yeah, Jackpot taking control here, bomb rushing that left or that right side, making it very difficult for Universal to get back in here. Yeah, and 17 clams on that side. They definitely have the well, I say that now. 2 down, and okay, I'm sorry. It's just like this game's crazy. It's hard to comment on things.
I mean, I'm just as speechless as you are. Don't get me wrong. It is a defensive battle. No points on the board just yet. Archer trying to make a mark for their team and being that frontline presence that perhaps they would need to get to a point where they have points on the set board at the very least. It's a tough ask, certainly, but when you have something like the K shot, maybe you can make it work, not when you're getting shot in the face by Leafy, who, I mean, their influence over this matchup continues as they get the first barrier breakage, and even more, another power clam slips in, add another clam for good measure. Well, yeah, if you're Jackpot, that's about what you wanted 2 minutes into this one.
Absolutely. And not only that, they it doesn't seem like Universal has gotten full control or like fully recuperated from this first push. However, they do seem to be making that adjustment now, as we see Woomph trying to. Oh, and just as I say that, he gets sniped out of thin air.
Yeah, I mean, that's exactly where they want to set up. You know that they're going to be looking for these kills, but the aggression that we're seeing from Big Shrimp is able to get the trade actually with the splat bomb. So impressive effort there from Big Shrimp, having to back up. It's going to be 3-1 on the map. Wait, there's a DC. It's going to be Archer that winds up going to. I think they're going actually forcing a. Can they force a replay here?
I'm not quite sure.
Yeah. Oh, okay. So it was in the last half of the game. So there is going to be no replay, and that is just tragic for Universal. What hopes they had are going to be cut short. Big Shrimp is going to take aim, and they're going to try to close this thing out. Oh my gosh. I mean, Big Shrimp is just sitting up there unchallenged. This is, this is kind of brutal. Not going to lie.
Yeah, definitely hate to see it.
Yeah, Universal. And it's kind of a shame because we saw Archer trying to push the way forward, but in doing so with relatively decent results. But yeah, Jackpot just a little too much to handle. Archer and Mathaway, you saw they combined for 10 splats, but when you have Leafy and Shadowwind leading the way with 22, Jackpot says your luck has run out, and they will be taking their spot in Grand Finals against Friends. So, we are going to, first of all, thank you for joining us. If you have not done so already, be sure to follow this channel on Twitter at IPL Splatoon for more information coming to you from the Inkling Performance Labs, where we run all sorts of tournaments. On Fridays, every now and then, we've got testing grounds. Then, every Wednesday, Swimmer Sync. We run, low ink every single month. It is absolutely mad. You're going to want to follow us. You're going to want to stay updated. You can do so on Twitter at IPL Splatoon. Do that during the break. Coming up next, it's Grand Finals Jackpot versus Friends. Don't go away. You're watching Swimmer Sync 16. And welcome back to continuing coverage of Swim or Sink 16 alongside X-Ray. I'm Mazer Stu, the announcer. Thank you for joining us here in twitch.tv/IPL Splatoon. Jackpot and friends are going to be your combatants for this grand finals matchup. A couple of upsets had to happen in order to make this matchup possible. Specifically, friends taking down a very powerful team in Woo Back Wednesdays in 5 games. And yeah, what they are capable of, we do not know. But Jackpot, that's quite a strong lineup for friends to have to contend against.
Yep, and speaking of the lineup, we're actually going to see Splat Zone's Albacore. I swear it must have been our first time commentating this map mode. Clearly, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's a little bit of deja vu, right? I mean, we just saw Jackpot here, and quite frankly, they looked about as dominant as you could look. Friends, they know what they have to deal with.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah, I'm very curious to see how Friends plays throughout the set, considering that they got the major upset. But that being said, we're rolling into game 1 already.
Both of these teams know the power of 4, but in order to win, they're gonna have to square it. Welcome to Grand Finals for the 16th edition of Swim or Sink right here on IPL Splatoon. We're glad that you're joining us. These are the compositions. These are the teams. Let's get set. Game number 1, Splat Zone's New Albacore Hotel, Lust for Lexi. We're seeing them just lurking, waiting in the wings. That foil squeezer is going to have to come in handy as armors are immediately popped. And control is taken. No casualties taken just yet. But just as I say that, Shadowwind falls victim to Lexi, not able to deploy that Tentebrella in time. 3-3 on the map, and just like that, it starts falling. There goes Jackpot's range. And friends are looking like they're pretty capable up to the challenge. They're going to get a double before eventually getting taken down. Jackpot and friends, this is not going to be a wash, I feel like, X-Ray.
Definitely not. I'm very shocked to see that Jackpot actually got that opening cap there, because Lexi was just going off on this left side here. And I have to mention it, we got a little H3, ladies and gentlemen. That's my baby right there. So very happy to see that in Grands.
They're not going to hold the favoritism against you, I promise you.
Oh, yeah, sure.
Yeah, and this is YRN Axis, who's been putting in their fair share of work. They're going to try to get in on this side, prevent friends from being locked out, but it is a much easier proposition said than achieved, as YRN going to try to swim up and contest, at least going to try to take out the beacon, but is taken out immediately as Legend will take down Vanessa as well. They had a penalty assist on them. Friends was able to recap, but Legend paying no mind to that. They're on the Nautilus, and you better believe they're looking for even more heads.
Absolutely. Oh, okay. Well then. Yeah, we definitely see Friends trying to make a counter push here, getting that armor off, as well as the rain, I believe, and the blob. And yeah, we see the Elita go down the distance, as well as the NZAP. Axis pushing up here.
Now as Axis is going to get the kill on Legend. So again, going down. That's we've seen Legend and Leafy kind of cycle in and out off of that Nautilus. It's an interesting dynamic that they have going on. Almost like, Mom said it's my turn on the Nautilus, and they're just going to be happy with that. Big Shrimp going to take out Lust for Lexi from distance on that E-leader. And again, going into the zone to plant the ink mines. Jackpot is looking not too shabby right now, X-Ray. What's it going to take for friends to hold the zone against Jackpot and keep them from recapping?
I mean, it might be too much, but frankly, I really think it has to take at least an Elator down, as well as another member here. And we do see that here. The reason I say that is because 3 of the weapons on Friends here, namely the Blob, Squeezer, and H3, they're typically more zoning weapons. So their ideal position is to have the zone capped on their side and try to hold all these positions where the opposing team could drop. But that being said, does seem to be proven a difficult task as a Jackpot getting the cap here and pushing back friends on the left side here.
Yeah, I mean, they haven't really ceded much on the scoreboard. They're able to recap, it seems like, before Jackpot are able to get anything more on the board. But just as I say that, they're looking to cut in on this penalty. Jackpot, they need to maintain the zone. And indeed they do, at least for now. And they're going to get more points on the board. They're past the 85-point mark now, as Leafy is going to try to push the line out even more. But they're going to suffer the fall to YRN, who are going to look to recap the zone while there's still time, and it ticks away. The opportunity slips through their hands, and Jackpot, seizing the opportunity, they'll take game number 1 and looking to continue as they have carried on 2 games on Splat Zone's New Apple Hotels. That's 2 victories for them as well.
Yep, absolutely. Let me see the maps. Okay. Okay. Actually, I think like there doesn't really have to be that many changes on the side of friends here. I think most of the weapons actually work pretty well on Clam's Piranha Pit, as like you kind of get like the same theme of like long range and zoning weapons being like pretty powerful. But with how the first game went, I'm not really sure what they could do, because I feel like they did like a lot of good things, especially Lexi in that very opening there, where they got like a triple, and if you had to ask for a quad, then like I don't know what to tell you. So
Yeah,
I don't know. It's very tough to see to figure out what they need to do here.
well, I mean, what else can you do but try to contest them from range? And you have a lot of ground to cover in Clam Blitz, so especially on Piranha Pit. You do have a little bit of width. Don't get me wrong. It's not like you're not exactly playing on Walleye Warehouse. You know what I'm saying? But you're also having to deal with all the ins and outs that are provided to you by the map itself, that certainly your opposition is going to look to take advantage of. Do you take a more defensive stance if you're friends and try to counterpunch, or do you just try to go straight for the jugular and see if you can outswim Jackpot up inside the basket?
Yeah, there are definitely different options to consider here. I guess one other thing to note is the conveyor belts and how some of us can actually utilize them very well. Or really, now that I think about it, Oil Squeak. Oh, never mind. We're going to game 2.
Well, then let's see how they fare. It's going to be a tough ask for Jackpot's opposition, but then again, if they're friends, you'd have to think that they could do anything. Who knows? We'll just have to see. Lust for Lexi, you're going to switch off to the K-Shot, and a switch off to the Nozzle Nose, interestingly enough, for YRN. Do you like that pick?
Favoritism aside, I actually do. Mostly because they position pretty well on like right in front of the goal. Whereas like arguably like the most linear part of the map, and like H3 makes it very difficult in certain positions for opponents to actually approach it. So I'm definitely fine with that pick there. I'm more curious to see Vanessa's pick here with the Dynamo. And see how that works out.
I mean, there's only one way to find out now, there isn't there? But yeah, that especially when you're talking about something like the H3, it could be so. I feel like it could be so volatile, I guess is the word that I was looking for. But yeah, it doesn't seem to be paying dividends thus far. Their positioning just has not been enough. Lust for Lexi and Vanessa have gone down, fallen victim to the Inkjet of Leafy, who is right back on that Nautilus. And you better believe the message is clear and can be summed up in 3 words: Deke and destroy.
Absolutely. And we see Shadowwind here. It's still at their goal and like just trying to stall out, making it very difficult for and that being said, they do get another basket. And wow, amazing.
Yeah, able to hit that shot. It is 3-2 on the map. They are not able to get any more points on the board, however. So they will have a penalty assessed upon them. and it's still 56-0 in favor of Jackpot. So Shadowwinds, they're certainly not hurting over that too much, our friends, but at the same time, the fact that you've had Shadowwind just kind of sitting in useless for all this time is has to be a little disheartening.
Yeah, definitely worrisome for friends here. Like, I gotta. He has to have been there for at least like 2 minutes now. Like, it's crazy. Yeah, definitely gonna be an issue. That being said, they do manage to recover here, and they do get 2 down, and the umbrella is finally out. They finally have some breathing room here to set up for specials and paint and whatnot. So definitely gonna be interesting to see.
They're going to need all the help that they can get. That Nautilus is going to take to the skies immediately. Isaac's turn to show out and try to hit something in the crosshairs, but not able to find really much in terms of kills. Just a little too evasive, and perhaps too many routes of escape potentially for Jackpot, as friends are just being out-inked altogether. It's 4-2 on the map. Legend is going to try to create another area of opportunity. They're going to create a ball for themselves, getting the kill on Lust for Lexi, and that's another barrier breakage. And Jackpot are looking to break the backs of friends in this Clan Blitz match. They are very close to winning this entire thing, but they are wiped at the very end of it, perhaps overextending just a little bit too much with not enough clams to get the KO. However, 94-0 in favor of Jackpot. If friends want to counterpunch, they need to act fast and still get a few more kills. Try to get a staggered wipe, something, anything to stifle the momentum of Jackpot here, X-Ray.
Yeah, absolutely. It's, especially with a minute and a half on the clock, they definitely need like quite literally everything to happen for them. That being said, they are setting up the clams. We see Lexi here trying to pass them and setting off missiles here. They do have the Tri-Saucer down in the distance. And this Tin Umbrella is just going to be a really big issue.
Yeah, I mean, it's been an issue for them for quite some time, if we're being completely honest with ourselves. Under a minute to go, and yeah, all they did was give their opposition a pity clam. It feels like Jackpot has been able to kind of waltz down Main Street, and with Shadowwind's help, just kind of get in behind the basket and get these pops. YRN not able to get the kill with the Nozzle Nose yet again, losing too many 1v1s to really justify this weapon pick. Unfortunately, Leafy is going to try to make them pay. I mean, what's better than a victory? How about a knockout victory? They're not going to get it with a barrier breakage from Leafy, it seems, as YRN comes right back and gets them from the side with the Nozzle Nose. 10 seconds remaining. They do have a few power clams to work with. They're going to have to work quickly and garner even more. They do get a barrier breakage, and they're trying to cut in on this penalty. Easier said than done, as they're going to lose a 1v1. 3-2 on the map. Big Shrimp 7 is going to try to shut the door. They did get the power clam in, but it looks like that's going to be all she wrote for this game number 2 on Piranha Pit. Jackpot go up 2-0, and even when you got a power clam, you are not guaranteed anything. Jackpot ran away with it in the early part of the proceedings in this game number 2, X-Ray, and they did not look back.
Absolutely. Yeah, that very last push there, while it was definitely tough to get across, they did manage to get the Tin Umbrella relatively quickly. It was just too late at that point, especially considering like the very beginning of the match, they quite literally all had to focus on the Tin Umbrella, and just even then couldn't really do anything with it.
Yeah, I mean, the distraction that the Tin Umbrella was able to provide, I mean, it's not really a super notable performance strictly on the stat sheet, was it, X-Ray, where you're talking about Shadowwinds, 8 splats and 5 bubbles. That was all well and good, don't get me wrong, and I'm sure that they were appreciated. But the fact that they required so many resources for the other team to try to kill them really opened things up for Leafy and Legend to be able to get in and get those barrier breakages, and certainly the kills that with which they followed up. Big Shrimp and Leafy combined for 30 splats that game. 30 splats. And that was only with 1 Inkjet from Leafy, mind you. Legend not far behind them with 14. I mean, just a great performance all around from the team, and it all seemed to revolve around the expert barrier play of Shadowwind.
Yeah, Shadowwind, like, not only like just providing a distraction, but that really provided an opening for like all of their teammates, and yeah, which obviously led to those 30 splat kills. It was very very nice on the side of Jackpot.
Yeah, so now as we are going to tower control on the Reef, an interesting one, and that second checkpoint is always so crucial. I mean, friends, they've got to do something here if they want to counteract the momentum that Jackpot is throwing at them. And Vanessa's answer to that, potentially a gold dynamo roller, and Isaac, well, not far behind on that line of thought. They're breaking out the Bloblobber.
Yeah, I'm very curious to see what like strategy they have to go here. I Blob, like, generally on Reef, I go with the same line of thinking as like most sloshers, where it's like it could be good for contesting bridge, but with tower control, I don't find that necessarily the most important things as compared to other modes. So, we'll definitely see for sure how this plays out.
I don't know, I just find it so interesting going vanilla Bloblobber as well. So more than content to try to cover a little bit of ground with the Ink Storm. Not a super offensive thing, but it helps to push the line forward slowly but surely, and that's kind of what you need with tower control. You're not trying to just push the tower forward with all your might, but you can definitely see the methodology. However, Jackpot are saying you can take your academics and stick them where the sun don't shine. We got game, and we are going to show you exactly how it works in the real world, kid, as they are going to pass the second checkpoint, looking for the third. 42 on the map. Leafy is going to go down eventually to that gold dynamo roller, and they will be stalled at the third checkpoint. Big Shrimp is going to get a double on the charger even after they lose the tower. That does not mean that Big Shrimp has any quit in them. A Big Shrimp in a little pond here at the Reef, and they're going to ride the tower and wait for their teammates to catch up to them.
Yeah, with the way they're playing, it doesn't even feel like they lost the tower. Big Shrimp just getting like these insane plays. I was going to comment how Vanessa got a triple, like, despite not being in their perspective, but that was definitely cut short by Big Shrimp here.
Yeah, but I mean, they're just keeping the lineup so far. Big Shrimp, a huge part of that. I mean, no pun intended. That's going to be a triple for the backliner. They're going to try to push this past the third checkpoint, and they're successful. Big Shrimp popping off at the very end. That is a KO.
Wow.
Jackpot with a 3-0 advantage going into Game 4. And my goodness, Big Shrimp, take a bow.
Honestly, that was like peak performance, like out of like any like charger, I'd say. Like, we're not like of all time, but like, definitely up there for sure. That was just like phenomenal play by the charger.
I mean, the triple at the end, that just seemed like the icing on the cake, didn't it? You saw that the entire offense was going through them the whole time, regardless of that. And the fact that the knockout happened so quickly was because Big Shrimp was able to maintain the numbers advantage, get the double, get the necessary kills that were needed in order to justify getting back on the tower while keeping things safe for themselves, and using that bomb rush to maintain that line of green so that their teammates could eventually come back in and support them. I mean, that's exactly what you want from an anchor. You want to just plant it right on the opponent's throat. Big Shrimp not content to just sit in the back line and let the match go on while they observe. They're right in the thick of things, and the kill count showed it. 10 splats for them leading the field.
Yeah, absolutely. And going to Game 4 here, we have Rainmaker Starfish. Well, I'm with the way this set's playing, I honestly don't know what to comment on. I part of me wants to see the Squeezer again on the side of Universal, because I feel like Squeezer is like their best bet at dealing with that anchor. As we saw with the first game, despite it going to Jackpots, but yeah, I don't know. It's just very tough in this situation for Universal here.
I mean, it's going to be so tough. You know, just navigating that Rainmaker through all that fire to begin with. It really might come down to who wins these 1v1s. Isaac is going to go to a Fire Fin to try to combat Big Shrimp. I mean, that's a big ask.
Absolutely. Interestingly enough, we aren't seeing the typical like Rainmaker like comps from either side, where like you'd think, oh, we see like Sploosh 7 or like a bunch of short range shooters to get the Rainmaker popped real fast. But
Yeah, we're seeing a Charger battle on Rainmaker.
yeah, it's insane. Yeah, but we
far from conventional, I would say. A little beyond the pale. But this is going to be Isaac taking carrying the Rainmaker, and yeah, getting it into the pit. And as it might just depend on how far these teams can go up that ramp beyond the pit, trying to egress towards the goal area. That's generally where these games are won. Shadowwind is going to charge up and take a few shots themselves, as Jackpot are going to go on the offense, trying to get a stray kill, and it seems like Shadowwind is well on their way to doing so, but I mean, they're at least taking the right angles for these shots. They do have actually get Isaac taken, though the Charger is going to be out. However, when you get down into that pit, it is just going to be a mess of fire from that end zap to go along with the potential instant kill of that gold dynamo roller. Even though that gets taken down, that's a triple. This is their chance. We might be seeing the winning moment right here, folks. As they take the lead, they're going to charge right up. Shadowwind, absolutely no remorse, no regard for the life of friends or foe. Jackpot is going to get the knockout victory with a 4-0 sweep in grands.
Yeah, and just whenever you see a glimmer of hope, you just blink once and it's over. Wow, like, if that doesn't scream like domination, I don't know what does. Like that, I don't know. It's just very well done from Jackpot. I don't know what to comment. It's crazy.
I mean, I'm speechless too. Don't get me wrong. It was a fun finals. You saw a few knockouts from Jackpot that would kind of suggest that they were a cut above, and certainly that last game proved it. But friends, not necessarily pushovers in that one. They kept fighting. They were challenging, especially in that game number 1. They proved that they were game. They wanted to take on Jackpot, but maybe just a few too many tournament miles for the opposition. Jackpot proving that they were just a league above the rest, and well, the results bore that assumption, didn't it?
Yeah. Yeah. Despite how this set goes, how it went rather, Universal's performance, like overall, or not Universal. Wow. For friends, yes. I'm sorry. I have bracket pulled up on like different tabs, and it's like blah blah blah. Anyways,
No, I get you.
Yeah, nothing to scoff at. Taking that win off of Wooback earlier off stream, that's definitely nothing to be like ashamed of.
Absolutely. That is nuts. Are you kidding me? Like, it's you can't really discount the fact that they were able to get that win over Wooback. You know, the returning Hexen and Keo be teaming up for the first time in a while, and yeah, that's nothing to shake a stick at. But Jackpot just a little too much to handle. Bad matchups all around, it seemed, and their strengths were just a little bit more easily nullified by Jackpot in that particular situation. That's why these matchups aren't won on paper, folks. They play these games for a reason, and in these games, on this day, it's going to be Jackpot that walk away. As we're trying to usher in a new era for Splatoon, definitely want to thank you all for joining us on this wonderful journey here at Inkling Performance Labs. This is the 16th Swimmer Sync that we have done. These weekly tournaments have turned into something incredibly special, and it would not be this without you, the community, enabling us to do what we do what we love to do, and that is put together a high-quality weekly tournament for you all. X-Ray, you got anything to say to the people? I'd love to hear it.
firstly, good night. No, jokes aside. Yeah, thank you for tuning in, everyone. Like, I'm still speechless with how that set went. Yeah, definitely tune in for our next event. I'm so sorry. I'm like, my brain's like scattered. I'm
It's
just
okay. Yeah, let's tell the good people about it. It's what we've got. I Dare You that's kind of happening, and we're helping a little bit with that. We have Testing Grounds every other Friday. We have Low Ink that happens on the weekend, the last weekend of every month, I believe. And yeah, right back here every Wednesday, twitch.tv/IPL Splatoon for continuing coverage. Our next tournament's actually going to be in 2 weeks. Got some things happening next week that doesn't allow us to be running. But either way, I'd like to thank you for joining us. We're going to be rating Milana. For all of us here at IPL Splatoon, I am Stu the announcer saying take care and happy splatting.
alrighty.